Oh, 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 it was a microwave massacre. Oh, God. That was the oasis of the zombies. Oh, jeez. Oh. Oh, my hair. Huh? Huh? What? Huh? Oh, I guess it's time for season 2. Well, hello everyone. Welcome to season number 2 of B-Movie Enema the series. I feel like I've learned a lot from season 1, and I think we've got 16 more mostly forgotten and little known horror and exploitation films for you, starting this week with John Pizer's 1974 thriller, The Centerfold Girls. As always, I'm joined by my lovely sidekick, Nurse Disembodied. Nurse? Nurse? Nurse, are you there, Nurse?
I'm here. Where are you?
I'm here at the home office doing the intro for this week's B-Movie Enema episode. Where are you?
I'm at the clinic.
What?
What?
You're not here?
No, I told you I'm at the clinic.
Then, if you're there and I'm here, how am I talking to you?
You called me.
Gah!
We don't have time to deal with your tenuous grasp on reality. When are you coming here?
I'm here. Jeez, hold your jets there, Nurse. All right, so what we got here? We've got the Centerfold Girls. All right, well, I guess I should have checked if the movie Poop Shoot got moved carefully and properly when the clinic reopened. And let's see here. Yep, it's here. All right, so what to say about the Centerfold Girls? Well, this is basically an anthology. It's broken up into 3 stories about a man, played by Andrew Prine, stalking and killing women who pose for a specific men's magazine. And we'll talk a little bit more about Prine in the following segment. However, I do want to talk about who made this movie. Now, this movie was directed by John Pizer. Now, Pizer didn't really do anything big in his directing career. He was, however, a career TV director. He was born in 1916 and got in with making TV shows right at the dawn of the television age, having worked on a couple of episodes of the TV series Suspense in 1949 and 1950. He worked on mostly forgotten shows. For example, did you know that there was a Casablanca TV series? I sure as hell didn't. Now, he did do some more notable shows like The Man from U.N.C.L.E., Charlie's Angels, The Rifleman, Mannix, Hawaii Five-0, and The Untouchables. But before the end of the 60s, he did try his hand at a few movies. But he only made like a half dozen feature films, with The Centerfold Girls being his last one. The screenplay writer for this movie is even more obscure. Bob Pete is the credited screenwriter. Now, Pete was another television guy, and he racked up, about 20 writing credits in his career. The Centerfold Girls would be his first. But his most regular gig was probably for the show Good Times, the popular show that featured good old Jimmy Walker saying things like "Dynamite." Now, the story credit, though, well, that's a whole different story. Arthur Marks didn't so much have as an extensive career in terms of the number of shows he worked on like Pizer did, but he does have some pretty heavy-hitting credits to his name. He produced 103 episodes of one of my favorite television shows ever, Perry Mason. And before becoming the producer, he was the associate producer on 43 more. So that's roughly half the entire run of that series. Now, he grew up around the movies with his dad, who was a second unit director and production manager way back in the golden era of movies, having also worked on none other than The Wizard of Oz. This probably helped him when he got started as a bit part player as a kid and young adult. Now, later on, he spent a bit of the 70s producing exploitation movies and even directing some well-known blaxploitation flicks like JD's Revenge and The Monkey Hustle, which that second one co-stars one of my favorite people ever, Rudy Ray Moore. Marks died late in 2019 at the age of 92, but he had a hell of a full career even after quitting the movie-making business in 1990. Alright, so, Nurse, what say you? Should we get things going on the Centerfold girls?
Yeah, I think we should. It sounds pretty, titillating.
Oh, you bet your fucking bippy it does. So let's get things started here, and we'll be back after the first story and talk a little bit more. Hey, wait a minute here. You do something with your hair?
No. Why?
You just look different.
Different how?
I don't know, just different. Actually, I don't even remember what you looked like before, and that was just last season too, so that's weird.
Yeah. That is weird.
I mean, I grew a beard, and I'm a little bit different myself, but something is weird here.
No more weird than before.
I mean, I remember you being a little less, I don't know, animated. In fact, I remember that being a whole thing with your name being Nurse Disembody, and that's just really weird. Alright, so let's get started here with this cleansing, and we'll put a bookmark in this mystery so that we can get rolling with the Centerfold girl. You know, you gotta appreciate these 70s exploitation sex murder films that are in such a quality, some 40 plus years later, that they also look like they've been murdered with its top clean open and dragged across the ground to its shallow grave. Of course, that dead chick getting the treatment there was just a bonus bit of boobs and bits. Our actual first story in this anthology features Jackie, in other words, Miss March. Now, just to show how progressive this movie is, Jackie isn't just Miss March, she's also a career woman. She's a nurse.
What? Seriously, what?
Did you know a Jackie or two when you were, working at a reputable hospital? I'm just curious.
Ugh, I swear with you, it's always with the childish, inappropriate behavior.
Anyhow, Jackie is played by Jamie Lynn Bower. What's funny is that I know that name very, very well, but I actually don't know why. Yeah, she's on some popular soap operas to this day, in fact. However, that doesn't really help me. I don't watch The Young or the Restless, or Days of Our Lives, or whatever. In fact, I know more about how much clothing Jackie wears when she sleeps than what I know about those shows. But, Nurse, do you know what I also know more about than those two soap operas?
Who, the killer in this movie?
That's right. Now, I'm not entirely sure it's the greatest idea for your movie with the serial killer to be completely and totally unambiguous right from the opening shot. It's like John Pizer was like, nah, no sense in trying to get any mystery to this movie called The Centerfold Girls at all. We open with blood, boobies, and Andrew Prine as our killer. And speaking of Andrew Prine, he shouldn't be confused with John Prine or Chris Pine or Optimus Prime. I'm going to go ahead and guess that this won't be our only go-around with Andrew Prine. Prine was in a whole bunch of TV shows, but ended up in a good run of low-budget B-movie exploitation flicks between the 70s and 80s. And when you do a bunch of 70s and 80s exploitation flicks, you get the attention of filmmakers like Quentin Tarantino and Rob Zombie. When Tarantino got to do an episode of CSI, Prine got to work with him. When Zombie did Lords of Salem, Prine came along for the ride. Now, I feel like at some point we'll be seeing Prine's work in Nightmare Circus and Crypt of the Living Dead at some point. Now, I could go on further about Aldo Ray, who was also in this first story too, but I feel like we're about to go way too long. Let's just say that Ray was in a shit ton of Fred Olen Ray, no relation, movies. And like I said, there's no real relation between the Rays, but Fred paid in cash for Aldo, and Aldo was for it. But Nurse, can we talk about how shitty Jackie's life was and how it turned out?
Oh man, she had the worst luck, didn't she?
No kidding. I mean, first and foremost, she gets a call from creepy-ass Andrew Prine. Second, she tries to do a nice thing for a girl hitchhiking along the coast, only to find out that that girl has a gang of filthy hippies for friends who trashes her aunt's house, steal everything from her, and attempts to rape her. Then the lady running the camp that Jackie was trying to get a job at, victim blames Jackie for being a tramp and having shitty friends. She then gets put up in a room next to creepy-ass Andrew Prine. Then the lady's husband accuses her of having been stoned and horny, then also tries to rape Jackie. Then Jackie dies at the hands of creepy-ass Andrew Prine. I'm not sure what this movie was trying to say, Nurse, but I'm not too sure that it was anything good. This first story, at least, was kind of a rough one.
I wish one of those hippies would have at least gotten something done to them. They just took off with her car and everything.
Yeah, I know. Those jerks were like real, well, jerks.
Yeah, they were.
Now, we're going to go dive back into this movie now. Andrew Prine, who plays a guy named Clement Dunn, which is kind of a cool name, just sliced off the face of Jackie's nudie picture in his little book of victims, and oh my god, that reminds me.
What? What?
You look different.
I mean, I did sort of get a makeover.
Yeah, but it's more than that, man. I mean, you sound different too. I mean, we had that time off. I apparently slept through my entire time away, but you sound different. You trying to do a voice or something?
No.
Did you go somewhere and come back with one of those fake accents like Madonna?
No.
Hormones?
No.
Well, what gives then?
Okay, fine. I don't really like to talk about this, but I took some speech lessons during our hiatus. I used to have a very strong accent that made my voice and speech tone very stilted and almost mechanical.
Ha! Now, I knew there was something different there, but that doesn't exactly explain the difference in appearance. I thought your name meant that you had like a disembodied voice thanks to my ever-fracturing psyche.
Oh no, my name and accent was all part of it. I come from, Eastern Europe. Yeah, I'm from Eastern Europe. My full name is Nurse Cartoon Face Disembodied.
Well, I think we wasted enough time with the good people's time, so I think we should maybe just get back to the movie.
That's probably for the best.
I smell a formula, Nurse Disembodied.
Ooh, do tell.
Alright, so yes, we got the naked boobs at the beginning as kind of a bonus boobage, right? Now, however, we then see Andrew Prine open his little nudie book up and cut out that girl's face and then turn to Jackie's page. Yes?
Go on.
Okay, so in a very little time after that signal start of that first story, we see Jackie sleeping nude in bed and getting up and going, well, full boobs out, really. Now, go to the second story. Andrew Prine has removed the girl of face number 1, turns the page to Jackie, cuts her face out, then turns the page to Charlie, and then we see her go into her dorm room or apartment or some such shit, and what? Immediately goes tits out. Now, I'm willing to bet that the exact same thing is going to happen in story number 3, and I don't know what concoction this formula is creating, but I like it.
Well, I guess it's good to create familiarity.
Bingo! Now, this story has 3 lovely centerfolds, which I guess comes down to Miss May, which is Charlie, plus 2 more potential victims for Andrew Prine. Also, notice that Prine's little nudie book has pictures on both sides, right? Now, the first girl was Miss January, according to IMDb. Jackie was Miss March, and Charlie is Miss May. And I think that this is because when Prine cuts out the girl's face on one month, it kind of fucks up the girl on the back side of the page.
Oh my, how perceptive you are.
Yeah, you know what? I look at everything in a movie, and yes, that even means Andrew Prine's nudie book. And I felt that it was, really important to pay very close attention to that. Anywho, so the second story, Charlie's story, is about a group of girls on a shoot at a beachfront home out in the middle of nowhere, I guess. Now, Andrew Prine, being the kind of guy that he is, gains access to this island or beach or whatever by, I think, stealing a surly sea captain's boat. Now, Charlie is played by Jennifer Ashley. And Ashley was in a handful of known movies. I mean, she was also in Nightmare Circus with Prine the following year. And she got an episode of the TV series for Planet of the Apes. And she was in the 1979 sexploitation classic, The Pom Pom Girls. But in the 80s, there were two notable movies that she was in. The first was Partners. It's kind of a terrible comedy about two cops, one gay, played by John Hurt, and one straight, played by Ryan O'Neal. And they're trying to track down a serial killer who was stalking and killing gay men.
Not exactly a great source of comedy.
Not at all. In fact, it was probably, if somebody were to kind of explain it at the time, it was probably one of those movies that everyone wanted to be, they wanted everyone in on the joke and maybe even, I don't know, try to normalize some elements of gay lifestyle, but, kind of fail completely. But I digress. The other movie that she was in is one that I truly love, and that's 1981's Inseminoid by director Norman J. Warren. Sadly, Warren just passed away in March of 2021 at the age of 79, but you can go over to the B-Movie Enema website and just see for yourself how much I love Warren's catalog of movies. And Ashley plays the commander of the little science team in that Inseminoid movie, and it's a good alien ripoff movie. So, the next morning, our girls, Charlie, Sandy, and Glory, go to do, their shoots and whatever. However, Sandy got her ass primed, so it's only the two pairs of boobs for the photo shoot for now. While Charlie gets her pics taken, Glory finds Sandy's body on the beach after she was pushed from the cliff.
Yeah, that one lady had zero sympathy. She was all business, wanting the girls to get back to work.
Yeah, so that was Melissa. Now, she's played by Francine York. Now, she was in a shit ton of things in her career. In fact, she was Lydia Lumpet in a couple of episodes of the 1960s Batman series. Lydia turned out to be the Bookworm's girl. The Bookworm was played by Roddy McDowall, who, of course, was Cornelius and Caesar in the old Planet of the Apes movies, as well as Galen in the Apes TV series.
It's always about Planet of the Apes with you, isn't it?
Actually, it really used to be. Some know the story of my connection with that franchise and things I would, write or speak about in my high school German classes. But now, to get back to this movie, I do like this second story much more than the first. This is much, much less gross and icky feeling than the first story was. This has more of a straightforward slasher feel to it, where the first was very grimy and dirty with the misrepresentation of those awful hippies, the girl who literally had nothing good happen to her in her final days, but all those bad things being brought to her by different people and so on and so forth. But I do like this second story.
It even has that thing where Charlie accidentally kills that one girl with a gun because she was scared and was told to shoot anyone that comes in.
Yeah, and that's one of those fun little tropes. Speaking of tropes, we have a whole thing here with the killer collecting something from his victims. In this case, it's a single shoe from each victim, and he has a whole roll-top desk full of shoes. So I have to assume that he's been at this for a while. Now, did I ever tell you about the time that I was little and I put on a pair of shoes on my hands so I could pretend to be a horse because, horses have shoes?
Did it help you feel like a horse? Like a real stallion?
Well, no, it only made my hands smell bad. Now, I think we should probably get back to the movie, but by the way, nurse, guess who the next victim is?
Miss July?
Miss July. Now, again, I'm telling you, these girls are being targeted because they're the odd number month, because Andrew Prine fucks up February, April, and June by cutting out the faces of January, March, and May. And I'm betting that Miss August is safe too. So let that be a lesson to you, nurse. Request that you get the centerfold for one of the even-numbered months. Your life may depend on it.
I better call Hot Imaginary Nurses Monthly right now so I can make sure I get one of those even months.
Yeah, you get on that. Alright, so our final segment stars Tiffany Bowling as Vera, Miss July. Now, she gets sent some yellow roses from Andrew Prine, who says they should bury her in yellow. The typically very romantic thing that you say to a woman. And she, too, is a professional woman. She is a stewardess, the sexiest profession in the 70s.
She also broke your formula.
Yeah, but, also the stories kind of started differently, too. However, we did get to see some boobs from her friend that Prine accidentally kills, thinking that he had offed Vera. Now, he gets kind of upset about that, and I'm not so sure why he cares that much, because he just killed off that whole island of people, but whatever.
Yeah, and how about her dumb friend telling the killer where she was?
I know, right? I mean, Tiffany Bowling, while being built up to being a classier centerfold, having not immediately going topless in her story, does do a shower scene. So I guess that's something, But Bowling was, of the three primary centerfold girls, probably had the most extensive career in acting. She had several TV guest starring roles. She had just been in The Candy Snatchers prior to this movie. And if you're curious about that movie, head over to the B-Movie Enema site and read my review of that in December. Shameless plug there, I guess. But her best known movie, though, probably has to be Kingdom of the Spiders, where she appeared opposite William Shatner, my childhood hero, Captain Kirk.
Alright, forget Planet of the Apes. We need to start a counter for how many times you reference something related to Star Trek in these movies we've watched.
Oh, that's not all. Andrew Prine was in the 1993 episode of Star Trek The Next Generation. Francine York was in an episode of a fan-made Star Trek thing called Progeny, which, I really kind of want to see that because Sharknado's Cassie Serbo is in that, and, I like her.
Do you like her because she was in Sharknado, or do you like her because you like her? You know what? Don't answer that. I don't want to know.
You know what? You probably don't want to know. Now, as I've always said before, I wouldn't be surprised if anyone in any of these movies that we watch showed up on something Star Trek. I feel like Star Trek was kind of a hotbed for hiring talent somewhat cheap, or people who were used to working fast or wearing costumes that they wouldn't picture themselves above wearing or whatever. Anyhow, I do like that Vera put up a good fight in the final moments of the movie, and I saw that little smile of yours when she kicked the dude in the balls.
What can I say? I like a good kick in the balls. Especially when the guy deserves it. Besides, I saw that smile on your face when she began stabbing him to death.
Hey, what can I say? I like murder. Wait, that didn't sound right.
No, it really didn't. I'll have to make a note of that. How about I tell people where all the good B-Movie Enema stuff is?
Please?
You can find all of Jeff's writings at www.bmovieenema.com. He posts new text articles each and every Friday morning. You can also find episodes of this show, B-Movie Enema the series, on the website as well as on YouTube. Subscribe to him there to be caught up on all the episodes, as well as see clips from other movies he uses in his articles. You can also follow B-Movie Enema on Facebook and Twitter. Just search for him on those sites. You can also find this show on OtherWorlds TV. If you have a Roku, add that channel for free and check out all the obscure movies on the channel as well as the other hosts that play there on the weekends.
Thank you, Nurse. Alright, folks, so Season 2 is off and running. Now, there's still 15 more movies to watch and discuss. Now, hopefully, you're all looking forward to it as much as I am. Hell, for that matter, I bet you're looking forward to the other movies too, Nurse. Nurse? I really have to start to wonder if she was ever really there in the first place.